Usually custom type pieces like this would be drawn by hand, but today I'll share the secret of how you can still create trendy lettering by customizing ready-made fonts. Begin by opening up Adobe Illustrator and create a new document. I'm using a generic A4 layout, but with the document rulers set to pixels and the RGB colour mode so we have the brightest colours available. Since we're going to use a ready-made font rather than scan and vectorize some hand-lettered art, we need to find a suitable typeface to work with. Now you're going to have to spend some money here because the majority of free fonts available on the web just don't come packed with the open type features we're looking for. These are alternative characters for each letter that often include variations with ligatures or swashes. They allow you to build unique type designs digitally that disguise the fact that it's made using a font rather than being a handmade piece. You can find the font named Fountain that I'm using in this tutorial linked in the description. It's one of my favourite script fonts that has plenty of cool swashes, ligatures and stylistic alternates. Use the type tool to set out your chosen wording in the Fountain typeface. You can see it also comes in a rough variant, which would work really well for more of a vintage style design. If you select a letter, you'll see the alternative glyphs that are available for that particular letter. So for the capital S, you have one with a large swooping swash or a completely different cursive style. Likewise, for the letter L, there are some flamboyant options or a simpler letter shape. Those swooshes and swashes don't work well for this particular word, but it shows how the same font can produce endless variations. One alternative character I do like for this word is the letter K with the extended leg. Then to do any necessary kerning adjustments, place the cursor between the letters and use the Alt and left or right keyboard keys to adjust the spacing. Go to Object, Envelope Distort and Make with Warp. Choose the Rise option with just a 10% amount to give the text more of a dynamic angled layout. Permanently apply this effect by going to Object and Expand, which will convert the original text into outlines. Click the Unite button in the Pathfinder panel to blend all the individual letter shapes into one continuous outline with no overlaps. Go to Object, Path and Offset Path and enter 10 pixels. Use the Unite button again to merge all the new shapes into one outline. Offset paths are grouped with the original shapes, but at the moment only the offset path is selected since it's just been made. Go to Edit and Cut, followed by Edit and Pasting Back to separate it and place it behind the original text. Select the original inner text outline and give it a white fill. Go to Edit and Pasting Back again to place another copy of the outer path. Then hold the Shift key and nudge it down and right to create an offset shadow effect. Hold Shift and add the original outer shape to the selection. Then go to Object, Blend and Make. Head straight back to Object, Blend and Blend options. Change the spacing to specified steps and use a high number like 100 so the blend effectively looks like a smooth line. Go to Object and Expand to permanently apply this blend effect, which will convert it into 100 individual shapes. Merge them all into one much simpler outline using the Unite button in the Pathfinder panel. Any leftover gaps can be deleted by selecting the path with the Direct Selection tool. Select the white filled shape and give it a gradient fill instead. Set it up with some nice vibrant colours like a hot pink to orangey yellow. I'm using the RGB values of 2551950 and 2550125. Adjust the gradient angle with the gradient tool. Click and drag across the text. Change the fill colour of the offset shadow shape too. I'm using a darker purple colour of 35055. Copy and paste in front a duplicate of the main text, then change the fill to a nice light purple of 105-59-143. If you accidentally replace just a portion of the gradient like me, you can click the little coloured swatch icons to replace the gradient with a solid fill. Nudge this purple shape down and right. I counted 8 times. Select the gradient filled text and go to Object, Path and Offset Path. Enter 8 pixels. Once again, cut this shape to separate it from the original text, then paste it in front. Unite it with the Pathfinder to merge all the shapes into one. We're going to use this shape as a tool to punch out its outline from the purple shape, but if you try doing it without first completing an important step, it doesn't quite work right. That important step is to first convert each component into a compound path by selecting each one individually and go to Object, Compound Path and Make. Then if you select both shapes and use the minus front button in the Pathfinder panel, the temporary offset path shape will remove the area of the purple shape wherever the two overlapped. Any tiny parts can be cleaned up by deleting them with the direct selection tool. Next we're going to create a custom brush, which we'll use to draw some highlights. Draw a small circle on the artboard, then use the direct selection tool and extend the two side points to make a tapered shape. Click the new brush icon in the brushes panel and choose New Art Brush. Under the method drop down, choose Tints, which will allow the colour of the brush stroke to be changed. Delete that temporary brush shape, then grab the pen tool and click and drag 2 points to create a curve that follows the outline of one of the letters. Make sure the path has no fill but has a white stroke applied. Click the custom brush we created to see the tapered line effect. You can alter the size of this tapered shape by adjusting the stroke weight. Continue drawing other short curved lines elsewhere within the letter shapes to act as small highlights. Follow a simple pattern, like placing them all towards the upper left of the shape, since the shadow is falling to the bottom right. Once you've dragged out a path, hold the command key and click some empty artboard space to deselect it to be able to start a new separate path. After drawing your last highlight, go to Select, Same and Stroke Colour to be able to apply the tapered brush stroke. Under the Transparency tab, change the blend mode to Hard Light and set the opacity to 70%. This same technique can be used to draw shadows too. Add a series of short curved paths, but this time towards the bottom right of the letter shapes. Give these paths the dark purple colour for their stroke by sampling it with the eyedropper tool. Hold Shift to sample just the colour, not replicate that shape's appearance with the purple as the fill. Set these shapes to Hard Light too, but at 50% opacity so the colour interacts with the pink to yellow of the gradient. Draw a rectangle that covers the entire artboard, then right click and choose Arrange Centre Back. Eyedrop a new fill colour by sampling a hue from the type design. To avoid accidentally moving this large background shape, go to Object, Lock and Selection. There's one more simple little technique that can really enhance your vector artwork. That's to just add some little details here and there. It could be paint drips, stars, or even something as basic as a few small circles. Hold the Alt key and drag copies of your shapes to quickly add little decorative touches around your type artwork. You can even replicate the white fill with Hard Light blend mode to add some highlight shapes inside the text outline. They're only simple little additions, but these little circles make a huge difference to the overall appearance of the artwork. So I hope these tips and tricks help you to create some cool custom type art of your own. It just goes to show that you don't need to be a hand lettering master to be able to create nice typographic designs, as long as you've got the right fonts. If you are a whiz at illustrating your own script text, the same vector shading techniques can be applied to your artwork once it has been traced, to give it more impact with vibrant colours. If you enjoyed this tutorial or learned any new tips and tricks, a thumbs up on the video would be really appreciated. Stick around for more of my content by subscribing to the channel, and be sure to join my mailing list at Spoon Graphics to download all my free design resources. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.